It began with meetings in hotel ballrooms, slides full of exponential charts, and the promise that anyone could get in early on the next big thing. The brand name was OneCoin. Tonight we focus on money rails and psychology, not personalities. We ask a practical question. How did this kind of offer spread so quickly, and what signals can an everyday listener recognize if something similar appears again? We will keep our language neutral and focus on publicly reported mechanics. Where facts are disputed, we will say so clearly. The appeal of OneCoin, and of many high-yield offers, is built on 3 layers. The first layer is a simple story that explains why the opportunity exists. The second layer is social proof that makes the story feel safe. The third layer is a payment path that is fast, global, and hard to reverse. When those 3 layers are present at the same time, momentum can grow even when the underlying product is unclear. This episode unpacks all 3 layers and ends with a prevention checklist you can use in any future investment pitch. Let us start with the simple story. People were told they were buying packages that included education and tokens that could be mined or redeemed as a future cryptocurrency. The slides showed growth curves, token splits, mining difficulty, and exchange listings to come. The story promised that early participation would be rewarded when a public exchange allowed free trading at scale. The details may have been complex, but the core message was easy to repeat. Buy a package now, hold your position, and the price will rise later. The second layer is social proof. Social proof arrived in several forms: enthusiastic meetings, stage lights, success testimonials, leadership ranks, and badges inside affiliate dashboards. There were photos with cars and hotel venues. There were titles that sounded official, like Blue Diamond and Black Diamond. There were training calls where leaders explained how to present the model to friends and family. Social proof creates what psychologists call normative pressure. If everyone around you is excited, it is harder to ask technical questions or to step out. In this environment, people can feel that doubt is disloyal and that speed is a virtue. The third layer is the payment path. Packages were often paid in bank transfers, card payments, cash deposits, and sometimes through intermediaries. Withdrawals, where available, could involve internal balances or limited conversion windows on internal or affiliated platforms. Fast in and slow out is a warning sign in any system. The faster money can arrive, and the more conditions that exist on withdrawal, the more friction accumulates on the way out. If you hear the phrases limited window, internal balance, and temporary maintenance in the same pitch, be careful. To understand why people commit funds even when something feels off, it helps to map the emotions involved. The first emotion is fear of missing out. The second is authority, a stage, a title, a confident script. The third is reciprocity. A friend invited you, and you want to respect that relationship. The fourth is consistency. Once you have said yes, your brain wants to stay consistent with that decision. Scammers and aggressive marketers both know these 4 levers. They apply them in sequence: promise, proof, request, and reinforcement. Let us separate what is confirmed from what is disputed at a high level. Confirmed items include the use of affiliate-style structures, public events to recruit, and payment flows that routed through various accounts and platforms. Public reporting also documented that authorities in several countries raised warnings over time. Disputed items include individual intentions, exact balances, and explanations for specific operational changes at different points. We will not speculate on those matters. Our goal is to understand patterns a listener can use in the future, independent of any single brand or case. The phrase money rails sounds technical, but it is not. A money rail is simply the road that money travels on and the rules that govern that road. Bank transfers, payment cards, digital wallets, gift cards, internal platform credits, and crypto rails are all different roads. Some roads are easy to drive onto and hard to get off. Some have speed limits and checkpoints. Some have many exit ramps, some have only one. When someone invites you onto a money rail you do not fully control, your risk increases. When your only exit is to sell inside the same system, your risk increases again. A good way to assess a proposal is to map the payment in both directions. First, how exactly does money go in? Do you send a bank transfer to a personal account? Do Do you load value into a wallet that is controlled by the same company selling you the opportunity? Do you convert national currency into a token that can only be traded inside the same app? Second, how exactly does money come out? Is there a published withdrawal schedule with daily maximums and bank partners listed by name? Are withdrawals open across many days or only during rare windows? Can you send funds to an external account in your own name or only to other members? Clear answers here are health signs. Vague answers are not. Another practical test is to ask what creates the promised return. If the return is generated by real external customers buying a real product at a clear price, that is one model. If the return is explained mainly by token splits, mining difficulty changes, rank bonuses, or the arrival of new members, that is another model. The first model depends on an outside market. The second depends on updates inside the same system. The more your return depends on internal changes only, the more caution you should apply. Momentum pitches often include an internal exchange or a future exchange listing. The language might be this: we will soon list on a major exchange, and until then you can trade internally under certain conditions. It is wise to ask simple questions about price discovery. Who sets the price today? What market matches buyers and sellers? How many buyers exist who are not also members? How much volume has settled to external bank accounts in members' own names? If these questions produce circular answers that point back to the same dashboard, slow down. One of the most powerful signals is the mismatch between a big promise and small, controlled testing. Legitimate systems encourage you to test withdrawals early with small amounts. They encourage you to use your own bank, pick your own wallet, and confirm your exit before you add more. Aggressive systems discourage withdrawals, delay them, or make them available in narrow windows. They encourage you to reinvest instead of withdrawing. They use a leaderboard to reward big deposits. If you are told that testing withdrawals is disloyal, treat that as a signal to stop. Now, let us talk about language you can use in the room. If you are at a presentation and feel pressured, try this sentence: I only invest in products where I can independently test both deposit and withdrawal in my own name, to my own bank account, within the standard settlement time for my country. If the presenter argues with that sentence, you have your answer. If the presenter welcomes the test and shows a real, recent payout to a real bank account with a reference you can verify, that is a different signal. Even then, remember that one successful payout does not prove long-term solvency. It proves only that some withdrawals are happening now. Social dynamics are as important as finance. Invitations often come from friends or community leaders. They may have had a positive experience so far. They may be under pressure themselves from leaders above them. If you decline, be kind. You can say, I appreciate you thinking of me. My rule is that I must be able to withdraw to my own account reliably, and I do not buy tokens that only trade inside one app. This protects the relationship and the boundary at the same time. If you decide to leave a system that concerns you, plan the exit. Reduce exposure. Test small withdrawals. Document each step with dates and amounts. If withdrawals stop or become inconsistent, write down what you are told and keep copies of messages and dashboard screens. If you believe you have been misled, consider reporting to your bank and to any relevant consumer protection authority. Keep your language factual and neutral. I purchased packages believing I could withdraw funds under stated conditions. My attempts to withdraw were not successful. I request investigation and guidance on next steps. Education packages are often included in high-yield pitches. Education can be valuable. The test is whether the content is independently priced and sold on its own to outside customers, or whether it mainly serves as a wrapper for access to higher yield tiers. If the product is mostly a gateway to bigger deposits, be careful. If the education is valuable, there is no need for aggressive bundling, tight deadlines, or paywalls that unlock only when you commit more funds. Another pattern to watch for is exceptions. Systems under stress often announce temporary changes, maintenance, paused withdrawals, new compliance checks, or a transition to a new platform. Each event can be legitimate. The risk is when exceptions become the norm, and when the only way to keep moving is to add more money. In healthy systems, exceptions are rare, time-bound, and explained with clear external confirmations, like notices from a named bank partner. In unhealthy systems, exceptions repeat, timelines slip, and updates come only from internal channels. For many listeners, the hardest part is admitting that excitement blurred the details. That is normal. Markets are full of stories, and stories are powerful. The goal is not to avoid all risk. The goal is to build habits that keep risk proportionate. Set a personal rule that no single pitch can take more than a small percentage of your liquid savings. Write that number down in advance. Keep a waiting period for big decisions. Ask an outside friend who was not at the meeting to review the pitch with fresh eyes. These small frictions protect you when a room is designed to move fast. Let us convert the lessons of this episode into a short checklist you can reuse. First, map the money rail in and out. Second, test a withdrawal to your own account before you add more. Third, ask what creates the return, external customers or internal updates. Fourth, read the contract and look for phrases that limit withdrawals, add windows, or force internal transfers. Fifth, avoid pressure from ranks, badges, or leaderboards. Sixth, keep your language neutral and your notes clear. Write down names, dates, and claims. Seventh, protect relationships by declining politely when your rules are not met. We will close with a calm summary. OneCoin spread because a simple story, strong social proof, and fast money rails created momentum. Similar setups will appear again in new forms. When they do, you can slow the process and apply the same tests. Ask simple questions. Test the exit. Keep your boundaries. You are not disloyal for asking to withdraw your own money. You are being a careful steward of your future. In our next episode, we turn to an accounting scandal that affected pensions, retailers, and markets. We will look at Steinhoff, with a focus on the mechanisms that produce the numbers and the lessons for everyday readers of financial statements. The aim is not to give legal advice or to relitigate history. The aim is to understand signals that matter in real life. Narration generated with AI, facts verified from public sources. No legal advice is given in this episode. The purpose is education and public safety. If you have a case tip or a documented pattern to share, use a safe channel and remove personal information that could identify non-public individuals.